Hi, I'm Mrs. Cooper, and I'm going to read from Flora and Ulysses. I'm starting at chapter 39, The Tears Roll Off. I am a little tongue-tied on one word, so you're going to hear somebody help me out as we go. The tears roll off. Dr. Measham came out of the kitchen holding a pink plate with small sandwiches on it. She sat down next to Flora. "You're enjoying the horsehair sofa?" she said to Flora. "I guess," said Flora. She wasn't sure exactly how someone enjoyed a horsehair sofa. "You ate a jelly sandwich," said Dr. Measham. She extended the plate to Flora. Ulysses leaped off Flora's shoulder and into her lap. He sniffed the plate. "Our patient is hungry," said Dr. Measham. "He never had breakfast," said Flora. She took 2 sandwiches and handed one to Ulysses. "This sofa," said Dr. Measham, "is the sofa of my grandmother. She was born on this sofa, in Blundermeason. She lived the whole of her life there. And she is buried there in the dark wood. But that's a different story. What I meant to say was, when I was a little girl in Blundermeason, I sat on this sofa and spoke with my grandmother about
inconsequential
things well into the gloom of the evening. That is what a girl in Blundermeason did in those days. She was expected to speak of
inconsequential
things as the gloom of the evening descended. Also, she must knit. Always the gloom was descending in Blundermeason. Always one was knitting outfits for the little trolls. "What little trolls?" said Flora. "And where's Blundermeason?" "Never mind about the trolls for now. I meant to only say that life was very gloomy then, and one was always knitting." "It sounds lousy," said Flora. "It was exactly this, lousy," said Dr. Measham. She smiled. Her dentures were very bright, and there was a smear of grape jelly on one of her fake incisors. Flora reached for another sandwich. "And terrible things can happen to you. Ever warned against eating jelly sandwiches in the house of a woman from Blundermeason?" "Your father is a lonely man," said Dr. Meacham. "Also very sad. To leave you, this broke his heart." "It did?" said Flora. Yes. Mr. George Buckman has sat on this horsehair sofa many times. He has talked of his sadness. He has wept. This sofa has seen the tears of many people. It is the sofa that is good for tears. They roll off of it, you see." Her father had sat on this couch and wept of the gloom of the evening as the evening descended. Flora suddenly felt like she might cry too. What was wrong with her? "Seal blubber," she thought. The word steadied her. She handed another sandwich to Ulysses. Your father is very capacious of heart," said Dr. Measham. "Do you know what this means?" Flora shook her head. "It means the heart of George Buckman is large. It is capable of containing much joy and much sorrow." "Oh," said Flora. For some reason, she heard William Spiver's voice saying that the universe was a random place. "Capacious heart," said Dr. Measham's voice. "Random universe," said William Spiver's. Capacious, random, heart, universe. Flora felt dizzy. "I'm a cynic," she announced for no particular reason in a too loud voice. "Bah, cynics," said Dr. Measham. "Cynics are people who are afraid to believe." She waved a hand in front of her face as if she were brushing away a fly. "Do you believe in, things?" said Flora. Yes, I believe," said Dr. Measham. She smiled her too bright smile again. You have heard of Pascal's wager? No, said Flora. Pascal, said Dr. Measham, had it that since it could not be proven whether God existed, one might as well believe that he did, because there was everything to gain by believing and nothing to lose. This is how it is for me. What do I lose if I choose to believe? Nothing. Take this squirrel, for instance, Ulysses. Do I believe he can type poetry? Sure, I believe. There is much more beauty in the world if I believe such a thing is possible. Flora and Dr. Measham looked at Ulysses. He was holding half a sandwich in his front paws. There were blobs of grape jelly on his whiskers. Do you know what a superhero is? Said Flora. Sure, I know what a superhero is. Ulysses is a superhero, said Flora. But he hasn't really done anything heroic yet. Mostly he's just flown around. He lifted a vacuum cleaner over his head. He wrote some poetry. But he hasn't saved anyone yet, though. And that's what superheroes are supposed to do, save people. Who knows what he will do, said Dr. Measham. Who knows whom he will save? So many miracles have not yet happened. Flora watched as one of the jelly blobs on Ulysses' whiskers trembled and fell in a slow motion to the horsehair sofa. All things are possible, said Dr. Measham. When I was a girl in Blunder Meeson, the miraculous happened every day, or every other day, or every third day. Actually, sometimes it did not happen at all, even on the third day. But still, we expected it. You see what I'm saying? Even when it didn't happen, we were expecting it. We knew the miraculous would come. There was a knock at the door. See, said Dr. Measham, this will be your father, Dr. George Buckman. Flora stood and went to the door and opened it. It was her father, and he was smiling. Again, still, which did seem kind of miraculous. Hi, Pop, she said. You see, said Dr. Measham. He smiles. Flora's father's smile got bigger. He took off his hat. He bowed. George Buckman, he said. How do you do? Flora couldn't help it, and she smiled too. She was still smiling when a noise that sounded like the end of the world echoed through the hallway of the Blixen Arms. 1 minute her father was standing there with his hat in his hands, smiling, and the next minute Mr. Claus, the cat one, came out of nowhere and landed right on top of George Buckman's unprotected head. Chapter 40, Vanquished. And this is the cartoon, and I'll let you read this at home, is of the Dr. Claus the cat landing on his head, and Ulysses comes in too. Chapter 41, I promise. There they were in the car. Flora's father's hands were on the steering wheel at 10 o'clock and 2. Flora was sitting up front, and Ulysses' head was out the window. They were heading back to Flora's mother's house in spite of Flora's protesting. We have to go back, said the father. We have to return at the regular Saturday afternoon time. We have to act normal, natural, unconcerned. Flora wanted to object, but she could read the writing on the wall. Or rather, she could read the words that hovered above her and her father and the squirrel. Destiny could no longer be forestalled. The arch nemesis must be faced. Holy bagumba, said her father. His right ear was wrapped in a large amount of gauze. His head looked lopsided. Wholly unanticipated occurrences. A squirrel vanquished a cat. He shook his head. He smiled. And again, that's where in the cartoon, the squirrel took care of the cat on his head. "And now it's time for another battle," said Flora. "Everything will be fine," said her father. "So you say," said Flora. It started to rain. Ulysses pulled his head back into the car. He looked up at Flora, and the sight of his little whiskered face calmed her somehow. She smiled at him, and the squirrel sighed happily and curled up in her lap. "When I was a girl in Blumber Mason," Dr. Measham had said to Flora when they were all leaving apartment 267, "we wondered always if we would see each other again. Each day was uncertain. So to say goodbye to someone was uncertain, too. Would you see them again? Who could say? Blunder Mason was a place of dark secrets, unmarked graves, terrible curses. Trolls were everywhere. So we said goodbye to each other the best way we could. We said, 'I promise to always turn back toward you.' I say those words to you now, Flora Belle. I promise to always turn back toward you. And now you must say them to me." "I promise to always turn back toward you," Flora had said. She whispered the words back again now to the squirrel. "I always promise to turn back toward you." She put a finger on Ulysses' chest. His tiny heart was beating out a message that felt like, "I promise, I promise, I promise." Hearts were the strangest things. "Pop," said Flora. "Yes," said Father. "Can I feel your heart?" "My heart," said her father. "Okay, sure." And then, for the first time ever, George Buckman took both his hands off the steering wheel while the car was in motion. He opened his arms wide. Flora gently moved Ulysses out of her lap and onto the seat beside her. And then she reached up and across and put her hand on the left side of her father's chest. And she felt it. Her father's heart beating there inside of him. It felt very certain, very strong, and very large, just like Dr. Measham had said, capacious. "Thank you," she told him. "Sure," he said. "You bet." He put his hands back on the steering wheel at 10 o'clock and 2, and the three of them, Flora, her father, and the squirrel, traveled the rest of the way home in a strange and peaceful silence. The only noise was from the windshield wipers. They hummed back and forth, singing a sweet, out-of-tune song. The squirrel slept, and Flora Belle Buckman was happy. There's the picture. Chapter 42, Foreboding. Her father pulled the car into the driveway and cut the engine. The windshield wipers let out a surprised squeak and then froze in mid-wave. The rain slowed to a trickle. The sun came out from behind a cloud and then disappeared again. And the smell of ketchup melded with butterscotch rose with a gentle persistence from the seats of the car. "Here we are," said the father. "Yep," said Flora. "Here we are." 412 Belgrade Avenue. It was the house that Flora had lived in for the whole of her life. But something was different about it. Something had changed. What was it? Ulysses crawled up onto her shoulder. She put her hand on him. The house looked sneaky somehow, almost as if it was up to no good. Foreboding. That was the word that popped into Flora's head. The house seemed full of foreboding. Do innate objects, couches, chairs, spatulas, etc., absorb the energy of the criminals, the wrongdoers among whom they live? The criminal element became a recent issue. It is, of course, entirely insignificant to assume such a thing. But still, we are forced to admit that in this woeful world there exists objects with an almost type of energy of menace, spatulas that seem cursed, couches that contain literal and metaphorical stains of the past, houses that seem to have groan and moan for the sins contained in their environs. Can we explain this? No. Do we understand this? We do not. Do we know that criminals exist? We do. We are also terribly, and unfortunately, we're certain that the criminal element will be forever among us. And the arch-nemesis, thought Flora, the arch-nemesis will be forever among us too. Ulysses' arch-nemesis is in that house right now. Do you remember the darkness of 10,000 hands? Flora said to her father. Yup, said her father. He yields 10,000 hands of anger, greed, and revenge. He is the sworn enemy of Incandesto. He's Incandesto's arch nemesis, said Flora. Right, said their father. I'll tell you what. The darkness of 10,000 hands better stay away from our squirrel. He honked the horn. Home the warrior, he shouted. Home, the cat-conquering superhero squirrel. Because if you remember, the squirrel saved her father's head from the cat being on it. Ulysses puffed out his chest. Let's go, Flora said. We have to do it. We have to face the arch-nemesis. Right, said her father. Bravely forward. And he honked the horn again. Arr!